the longest time, I've been postponing doing this. It's something that has been on my heart for the longest while, since I don't know, 2, 3 years. But because there's some things in life that you don't find easy to talk about, and you have to place yourself in a very vulnerable state. I know I am also an ambassador of this. On this podcast, we talk a lot about expressing your feelings, expressing your emotions, be vulnerable because it's very important. I know it's very important and it's helpful, it's healthy for you to be vulnerable. But it's one thing to say be vulnerable, and it's another thing to actually be vulnerable. That action is quite difficult. And that's why we decided to put some secrets, to put some thoughts, to put some vulnerable things that we all go through, to pack all of them all into a story. And we put this story into writing and put this writing in a book. So I would love to be the first person to tell you about this new book of ours called Confessions. It's going to be available on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles from the 1st of November. In this book, we talk a lot about addictions, about struggles, about different things you could ever think about. Things that you might think you're the only one going through, but there are a lot of people going through them. This book is inspired by reflections on life, inspired by stories from podcast guests, friends, myself, everything mixed up together into characters that will take you on the journey through your life, through their lives, and through life in general. There are different things that we go through, and it really helps for us to process these things so that we could become hopefully better, hopefully know what next step to take that would, profit us best. So the book is written in such a way that you have a chapter which is like maybe a phase of life basically. And we theme this because I don't know, I love food. We theme this in with sweet things basically, like fruit or food. So we have, for example, chocolate fountain. We have a chapter called oranges, for example. And one thing that stands out in this book for me over the whole time of editing and writing and getting feedback is the fact that at the end of it all, you have a page, or not a page actually, you have pages where you could write your thoughts. So you read a chapter of the book and something will be relatable to you. Something is going to catch your attention. Something is going to be speaking to you. And we want you to put it down into writing because writing things down is very effective. It helps you process your thoughts, process your emotions. So we provided lined pages after some of these chapters where you could write down those provoking thoughts, where you could write down those things that spoke to you. You could share some of these things with us through our website, through email, but we would love you to really put them down into writing also. I hope by the time you've read the book, we'll still be friends. But I'm dedicating the next episodes after this to this book. We'll be talking about stories. We're talking about things that even some of them didn't even make it into the book, but we'll be discussing them in details. Things that inspired the stories in the book, things that, actually made it into the book, and things that it's just for both of us to hear. I mean, yourself and myself to hear. And I hope by the time we go through this series, we will still be friends and we'll come out at the other end even as better beings because that's the purpose of it all, for us to be better. When you know better, you do better. And when you do better, the world becomes better also. So, how did we get here? I mean, after a long while of deliberating and holding back, I finally gathered that courage to share this with you. And I would really love you to go on this journey with me. And I hope you would go on this journey with me. So the book is basically a fiction book with journal sections, and we've hidden a lot of relatable, common secrets and confessions that when you start reading it, you'll be like, oh, okay. So the opening piece of the book is very personal to me because it's a very, very, how would I say it? It's a very, very touching opening piece, I would say. And for a very long time, I felt out of place, I felt different, I felt misunderstood. And I did not like this. I resented it. But embracing my uniqueness, embracing my strengths, embracing my weaknesses, embracing my struggles and the challenges also helped me to love myself. Appreciating that I was born differently, I had a different upbringing, and appreciating that I think differently helps me to see myself in a brighter light and treat myself even much better. When I started to treat myself better, everyone around me started to treat me better. When I started to treat myself better, when I started to love myself more, this was reflected back to me in the way others treated me, others saw me, or others still see me and treat me actually. So let me read the opening piece to you. Let me read the, this part of the book to you that actually was not the first part of the book that was written. It was written way after I started writing the book. So here it goes. I could not get the pen off my hand. Ballpoint caressing the paper made from papyrus. The pen stayed glued to my index finger and thumb. I could not stop no matter how much I tried. Life was the vibration, moving my hand with my pen across the papers. My blood flowed through a vein, running from my heart into the pen. Tears in my eyes. I cried. Isn't it fascinating? The poet wrote a poem that writes a poem. I was written to write. I was programmed to give life to words. I was created in the kindness of the Creator. I was created in the likeness of the Creator. A beautiful piece placed in the limelight. I was made to shine. On one fateful morning, I woke up with a loud cry as my umbilical cord was detached from my mother. I slowly opened my eyes, discovering that I was somewhere different. I cried and cried some more, writing my stories on the tables of my heart. Life goes by so fast. Time travels at our own unique pace, waiting for no one. Things happened. Things only my hands could write, but my mouth could never talk about. Some things you take with you to the grave, but other things you leave hidden within the pages of a book. I hope you find them. You are born this way and you accept it that way. You love yourself that way, and that way the world also will love you too. How that makes sense to you? So, what do you think about this? Kindly share your thoughts in the comment section below or use the link in the show notes of this episode and let us know what you think about this papyrus opening. So, after this opening, there's the next opening, which is called Desert. I'll talk more about this later. And I hope you follow us on this journey, on this series of episodes that will be around and about this book, Confessions. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. This episode was brought to you by Riverside FM or Riverside.fm. It's a platform where you could record yourself, record with other people in high quality, in studio quality actually. A link will be placed in the show notes of this episode. You could try it out for free. Record yourself, record your thoughts. If you want to have, phone calls with people abroad in high quality, or you want to have or you have a podcast also, You could also make use of riverside.fm for high quality production. Thank you so much for listening. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next episode. Wow, you made it to the very end of this episode. Thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful for your time, your love, and your contributions. Subscribe, like, review, and share this podcast. God bless you. Bye. Bye.